Welcome to the Explainer. Today, we're tackling something that literally strikes fear into the hearts of digital agencies and website owners alike: website migrations. We're talking about a process where the stakes couldn't possibly be higher. You're taking an established, ranking, traffic-generating digital asset and fundamentally altering its very foundation. If you get it right, you set the stage for massive growth. But if you get it wrong, well, the fallout can be absolutely devastating.
So it really makes you wonder, right? What actually happens when a controlled website migration turns into a complete rankings disaster? Think of a site migration like a high wire act. You're operating hundreds of feet in the air, totally without a net, and one wrong move, just one overlooked detail, equals a total traffic catastrophe. Domain authority disappears, rankings drop, traffic collapses. It goes from a totally routine launch to a full-blown emergency in the span of just a single Googlebot crawl cycle.
To truly understand the gravity of this, listen to this exact quote from our source material. Migrating a site without redirects effectively unpublishes the entire site from Google's perspective. Okay, just let that sink in for a second. Unpublishes. Your traffic doesn't just dip, it vanishes into thin air. A completely botched migration can absolutely destroy a site's organic search traffic, turning a highly profitable business into an absolute ghost town overnight. No way you want to deal with that.
Okay, let's dive right into this. Here is our survival guide agenda for today. First up, the pre-migration audit. Second, executing HTTPS migrations. And third, surviving URL structure redesigns.
All right, kicking things off with Mission 1, the safety net, also known as the pre-migration audit. Now, you have to realize that a site's current state is a massive, incredibly complex, interconnected web of URLs, redirects, backlinks, and performance metrics. Building a pre-migration baseline is absolutely crucial because it serves as your only safety net if things happen to go sideways. It's your ultimate reference point for post-migration validation and the foundational source of literally all your redirect mapping data. Without it, you've got no way to measure the impact and absolutely no way to recover if the migration fails.
So how do we build that safety net? Well, you need the right data. Specifically, you absolutely must capture 16 months of Google Search Console performance data. And you might be wondering, why exactly 16 months? Because it perfectly accounts for full seasonal cycles. It gives you a complete, rock-solid comparison baseline for post-migration performance analysis, covering everything from top URLs by clicks to queries by impressions and your full index coverage report.
But here's a massive pro tip from the source material. It's all about what you prioritize within that data. You need to identify the top 100 highest converting URLs by revenue, not just by vanity traffic. Think about it. A low-traffic page that actually converts 30% of its visitors is your absolute highest risk migration target. If you miss a redirect on a page that drives revenue, the impact is catastrophic. It's way worse than losing some high-traffic informational page that doesn't make you a dime.
To keep you out of trouble, Harper Media Group lays out a really strict 7-step pre-migration checklist. And let me tell you, this is non-negotiable. First, you run a live site crawl. Next, export your full backlink profile and grab those 16 months of GSC data we just talked about. From there, you document current traffic baselines, capture your full technical configuration, record all those tricky third-party integrations, and wrap the whole shebang up with a comprehensive risk assessment.
Moving right along to Mission 2, the security shift, which focuses on executing HTTPS migrations.
Now, shifting from HTTP to HTTPS might sound basic, but doing it wrong actually causes more harm than just stand put. There's a super sneaky, pervasive danger here: mixed content errors. This happens when your shiny new HTTPS pages are still loading HTTP resources, stuff like images, scripts, or CSS. Even though the page itself is technically on a secure connection, browsers will still flash those glaring security warnings to the user. This completely undermines visitor trust and will absolutely torpedo your conversion rates.
Another huge, common cause of migration failure is using incomplete redirects. You can't just redirect your homepage to HTTPS and call it a day. Doing that leaves other pages fully accessible on both HTTP and HTTPS, which creates massive duplicate content issues. The strict requirement here is implementing complete server-side 301 redirects for every single URL pattern across your entire site. No exceptions.
All right, so here are the bulletproof steps to execute this safely and eliminate that mixed content at the source. 1. Install your SSL certificate for all variants. 2. Configure server-side 301s from every HTTP URL to HTTPS. 3. Update your internal links and resources in the CMS. 4. Update those site-wide canonical tags. 5. Switch your XML sitemap to HTTPS. 6. Set up a brand new HTTPS Search Console property. And 7. Do a final sweep to check for any remaining mixed content.
And that brings us to our final and most perilous mission. Mission 3, the foundation shift, tackling URL structure redesigns.
This is where things can go really wrong if you're not careful. A botched redesign basically leads to a black hole of 404 dead ends. Your traffic simply drops off into the void because developers implemented new URLs without the right redirects. It's like building a road to nowhere. But a perfectly mapped redirect launch carefully and deliberately bridges every single old path to the new one, perfectly preserving your hard-earned flow of traffic and authority.
The absolute biggest fatal flaw agencies make here is how they actually build that redirect map. If you build it purely from a CMS URL list, I can almost guarantee you're going to fail. Why? Because the CMS database misses canonical variants, parameter URLs, and paginated pages. The absolute necessity here is building your redirect mapping table from a live site crawl. That is literally the only way to catch everything that Google actually sees in the wild.
We also have to issue a huge warning against a really common agency mistake, deciding to update internal links in a quote-unquote later phase. Look, if you launch your redirects but leave old internal links pointing to them, you create permanent authority-leaking redirect chains throughout your entire site. It drastically slows down Googlebot on every single crawl. Your internal links absolutely must be updated simultaneously with your new URLs. Please don't put it off. So to survive this restructure, you've got to follow these final steps. First, build your URL mapping table from a live crawl. Second, get a rock-solid developer commitment to launch all redirects and update all internal links at the exact same time. Third, update those internal links simultaneously. Fourth and fifth, update your XML sitemap and external references. Sixth, run a comprehensive 48-hour post-launch crawl to catch any 4xx errors. And finally, monitor your GSC crawl stats intensely for 4 full weeks.
Okay, let's wrap this up with the takeaway: avoiding a rankings disaster.
At the end of the day, it all boils down to one simple, unavoidable truth. Uncompromising preparation is the only thing that prevents a self-inflicted SEO disaster. A migration is not just flipping a switch, right? It's a meticulously planned operation where missing a single step, like failing to secure a pre-migration baseline or ignoring mixed content, can set your digital presence back by years. Which leaves us with this final, critical question for anyone planning a move. Is your redirect map built just to protect traffic, or is it strategically built to protect revenue? Are you prioritizing the URLs that actually drive your business, or are you just blindly moving pages? Really keep that in mind before your next high-stakes migration. Thanks so much for joining us on this explainer, and we'll see you next time.